ability. Let me make sure the sound is good. Wait, hold on, let me click this. Okay. Let me get off this. Shalom, shalom. Shalom, shalom. Yeah, because I think because of the water effect on the dang phone, it's gonna have that staticky sound. But everything should be good, clear. So first and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to the one true power, Yahawah, by Hashem, Yahawashi, by Hashem, to those that's new to the channel, that might be watching a little later, Yahawah is the Most High God, and Yahawashi is who the world innately calls Jesus the Christ, JC. And double honors to the elder apostles and the elders of great millstone who rule well and teach well through the Spirit. And a mighty shalom to the hopeful elect. In the same spirit, Lord willing, as a whole, that y'all continue in sound doctrine. Shalom to the Aqua, the sisters of this faith. Lord willing, you continue to pursue your lot, which is being a loving and silent, virtuous wife. And Lord willing, Yahawah Shemashai has mercy on other brothers and sisters. Now, I'm going to try my best to do this live quick, short, straight to the point, because I'm not on my other phone. Yes, this phone do get hot, and that phone might die quick, but it's, you know, I'm doing lessons before I do it live. So, Lord willing, this is edifying. I was thinking about this at work. I didn't know if I was going to get into it because my mind was on this other lesson, but I believe I can spare, you know, a little time, a little sleep just for this little quick lesson. I'm gonna try to be quick. A lot of times I'm not. But this lesson is really dealing with 1 Thessalonians, the 5th chapter and the 3rd verse. But we're gonna soak up 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 3 and 10. Okay? 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 3 to 10. Donald Duck said some very slick words, or he spoke ahead. Of course, you know, him in this world don't believe in Yahawah by Hashem Yahawashi the way that we do. So I'm gonna play this clip from some videos that I was watching while I was at work. So Lord willing, we can learn today, okay? And his other brothers, Apostle Tahar, he did a video, the brother from Las Vegas, and the elder in South Carolina. And it's other brothers, but I'm not going to drown you. I'm not going to drown y'all too much in these videos, but I'm going to drown you with the scriptures. So if I can play this back.
As I said earlier, I intend to be a partner in securing a better future. We're going to be working, you're going to be working with the United States, and we're going to make sure that the Middle East is going to be a safe and secure place. It's a very important place in the world. It means so much. There were so many people who said the Middle East, and this has been going for many, many decades. I've read it many times, that World War III will begin in the Middle East. It's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. There was a time that you would have thought it could have, but it's not going to happen. There won't be World War III, hopefully at all. But it's not going to start in the Middle East. We're not going to have a World War III if we're smart. There'll never be a World War III. World War III will begin in the Middle East. It's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. There was a time that you would have thought it could have, but it's not going to happen. There won't be World War III, hopefully at all.
So thou sayest, he said it's not going to be a World War III. And this other point is just showing the proud tongue of Esau.
So we dropped 14 bombs on Iran's key nuclear facilities, totally, as I said originally, obliterating them. And that's been confirmed, and everybody understands it. Together we stopped the number one state sponsor of terror from obtaining the world's most dangerous weapons. And if you think about it, if we didn't do that, and assuming we made the same deal that we have today, there'd be a dark cloud over this deal. And number one, it wouldn't happen because the other Arab and Muslim nations really wouldn't feel comfortable making the deal that we have now, right? If Iran had that nuclear weapon that they were about 2 months away from having. They would have had it in 2 months or maybe less than that. They were right at, this was our last shot. They looked at it for 22 years. This was our last shot. The pilots told me that. They said, 22 years, sir. They looked at it. Our predecessors looked, they studied it. 3 times a year would do drills on that exact attack. And boy, did they get it right. But let's assume they didn't. And let's assume there was large-scale nuclear weapons in the hands of Iran. We couldn't be here today, even if we signed the deal, which we couldn't do because a lot of people would not want to have anything to do with it. We took a big cloud off of the Middle East and off of Israel. And it was my honor to help. But isn't it true though that can you imagine the same? Let's assume, BB, the same documents. We had everything the same, but you had somebody out there that was, in the opinion of everybody, all powerful in the Middle East. They took a big hit, didn't they? Didn't they take a big hit? Boy, oh boy. They got hit from one side, from the other. And you know it would be great if we could make a peace deal with them. And I think that's big. Would you be happy with that? Wouldn't it be nice? I think. Because I think they want to. I think they're tired. Somebody said, sir, they're starting their nuclear program again. I said, let me tell you something. They're not starting anything. They want to survive. The last thing they want to do is start digging holes again in mountains that just got blown up. And so they're not doing it. They want to survive, okay? But I think we have a chance. Steve, you, and I think Jared, come on, I'll call you back for another one. We always bring Jared when we want to get that deal closed. We bring Jared, but Steve, you and Jared and the General and Pete and Marco, you'll get that deal done easy. I think that'll be easy. But first we have to get Russia done. We got to get that one done. If you don't mind, Steve, let's focus on Russia first, all right? We'll get it done. In Lebanon, the dagger of Hezbollah, long aimed at Israel's throat, has been totally shattered. My administration is actively supporting the new president of Lebanon in his mission to permanently disarm Hezbollah's terror brigades. He's doing very well. And build a thriving state at peace with its neighbors. And you're very much in favor of that, I know. And it's good things are happening there, really good things. And with this week's ceasefire, we've achieved the most challenging breakthrough of them all. The most challenging breakthrough maybe ever. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. I've been involved in a lot of success. I have never seen anything like what's going on today all over the world. People are dancing in the streets, not just in Israel. They're dancing in the streets of countries that would have never danced in the street about what's happening today. They're dancing in those streets. So this long and difficult war has now ended. You know, some people say 3,000 years, some people say 500 years, whatever it is. It's the granddaddy of them all. And in an unprecedented achievement, virtually the entire region has endorsed the plan that Gaza will be immediately demilitarized, that Hamas will be disarmed, and Israel's security will no longer be threatened in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah. Now, you can keep on going with this video, but this is just showing, you know, how America is fully connected with the state of Israel. right? They're fully connected to the state of Israel. You know, America is fully connected to the state of Israel because this is a system, okay? And one of like Israel and America are allies with one another. The elites run this whole platoon or this whole organization because America is a business. Let me actually get this precept before we go to First Thessalonians. This is Revelations, the 16th chapter, starting at verse 13. It says, "And I saw three unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon, and out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet. For they are the spirits of devils." So the dragon, the beast, and the false prophets are spirits of devils. What is a devil? A deceiver, a manipulator, a liar, working miracles, which they use technology as a miracle, right? Science, biology, they got chemists, they got a whole bunch of stuff that leads into science or going into technology. It says, "Which go forth into the kings of the earth and of the whole world to gather them to battle of that great day of the great day of the Most High Almighty." Now, who is these three unclean spirits? It's the finance, which is London, the military might, Washington D.C., and then the what you call spiritual religion, right? The false prophet, which would be the Roman Catholic Church, really the Vatican Church. We're in Yahawashi story. Just like when we look at Daniel, the 7th chapter, and I'm just gonna go to this one verse. If you wasn't watching the videos, Lord willing, you catch me doing another breakdown on Daniel 7 again. But this is Daniel chapter 7, verse 23. It says, "Thus he said, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon the earth." Now that fourth beast would be Rome. But let's see what it's about to say. It says, "Shall be diverse from all kingdoms and shall devour the whole earth and shall tread it down and break it in pieces." The only the kingdom that had power of the whole earth is America. Ancient Rome didn't have the whole earth, and we did this on a lesson, right? Which, since I'm always most of the time trying to keep my information right here. Oh man, did it just remove? Did I delete it? Oh no, I didn't delete it. Oh man. Okay, I guess I'm gonna have to get it again. Let's see if it pops up. Okay, it's not gonna be the same picture as the other day, but all the red is what Rome ruled. Actually, let me turn. Oh, my brightness is up. It's just because of the glare, right? Rome only ruled where the red is at. That's not the whole earth, right? Now, when I did another live, I was showing that Babylon has a footprint in every country on the earth. Ancient Rome, of course, to conquer these places they did, but not the whole earth, right? Babylon is devouring the whole earth. Babylon the Great, which is America. When you go back to Daniel 7, verse 8, America is the little horn. "I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, before whom there were three of the first horns plucked up by the roots." And this is after the three horns that got rooted is after the three wars that America went through, or really those Edomites to get their independence, right? That's why you celebrate 4th of July. It got its freedom in 1776, 4th of July, right? The Spanish War, the French War, and the British War, even though America stems out of Britain. It says, "Plucked out, and behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of man, and a mouth speaking great things." And that's what they did with their Republic and Democrat, right? Their damn Senate, government policies, right? This is the smooth things that they're saying. Let alone, what else did they add? They add the Caesar Borgia, because even Donald Duck said America is a Christian state or a Christian country. But how can you be a Christian country if you're if you're connected to the people of the state of Israel? They really follow Judaism, the Talmud, right? Um, they don't follow the whole volume of the book, and you really start hearing about Christians in the New Testament, right? So that just goes to uh, another reason why they're devils. A devil is to deceive you. But now, Donald Donald Duck, from another video, I found out that he just became so-called a Jew or a Zionist or whatever the heck he just, you know, confessed his faith to. So let's read this, and then we'll go back to verse 3. This is 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 3. Pay close attention, because yes, brothers and sisters, we do lessons to edify you, to encourage you to be ready, to be circumspect, to plant this in your mind so that you can actually walk and apply it. Let alone is how you move in your household, right? We should not be moving the same way that we're moving. Of course, we should be growing. Of course, we should be changing. Of course, we should be more precautious, right? Be prepared that the system gonna shut down. Don't be attached to everything, right? Because if you too attached, it's going to overtake you. Oh my goodness, the elect. All these lessons, this teaching, this word, is for the elect. Because when it happened, we're aware. We have the blueprint. Okay, so 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 3. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. Right? This speedy deliverance of Yahawashi, and what's coming, like the famine of the word, the MOTB, Jacob's trouble. All these things just lead to that birth. Because when Yahawashi get here, that baby is already out. Okay? It says, but ye, brethren, are not in darkness, that the day should overtake you as a thief. Dark is symbolic to light. The day represents symbolic to light, and darkness represents this world, right? When you go to Isaiah, I think it's 60:61, darkness gross. It says, ye are all children of light, in the children of the day. We are not of the night, nor of darkness. And if you are the children of light, you are truly the children of Abraham. How? Let's actually get that. Where people want to say all nations, but if you really believe in Abraham, a damn Hamite can't really believe in this, because he's not a descendant of Abraham. But you have to know it's all about the chosen seed. That's what Romans 9 is about. All nations, right, before they came out the womb, right, you had vessels that were created for honor and vessels created for dishonor. The other nations outside of Israel was created as vessels for dishonor. Can we say the Lord is he's uncompassionate? He has compassion or mercy for who he wants to have mercy for. How can we take away from what Yahawashi want to do? Right? Let me get that. This Galatians, the 3rd chapter, verse 7. I'll start at 6. It says, even as Abraham believed the Most High, it was counted to him for righteousness. Know ye therefore that they which are of faith, the same are the children of Abraham. So if you truly believe, you're constantly growing your faith. Just because you believe, you're not working on your faith, that shows that you're a real child of Abraham. That's why I'm thankful Yahawashi got me as a grown-up. Because if I was a child, look how our children don't have the same excitement or thrill that they do for the Lord. Some children might rush, to get a lesson done, to go do, or they sleep in. They don't have that same drive. But it's okay. I'm glad Yahawashi made me adult, because now I can actually work out my salvation with fear and trembling. And those that's under me, going to the women and the children, they have to learn, and of course they have to play their role. But me, I have to really be about this ministry. Okay? So even you have to, if you're a woman, but if you're a man, and you got a household, you might not be teaching the highways or byways, but as you dwelling with your wife and your children in this knowledge. Because like the elder apostle said, um, they said the internet is doing the heavy lifting. It's some I can't do a lesson. You can go and chat GBT depending on your algorithm, and you could say one word, something history, something pertaining to a chapter, something about GMS, something about camps, anything. It is gonna give you information. It might even give you a website. You're gonna be able to find a lesson. You watching these TikTok videos, YouTube videos, the news is coming out. Forget channel 7 and 6. It's people that's actually becoming doing journalism and actually getting the news, but the Lord is putting that spirit on them for us to get that news to be able to teach this word. Okay? So if you're a child of light, you are truly a child of Abraham. Verse 6, it says there, 1 Thessalonians 6, therefore let us not sleep as do others sleep, but let us watch and be sober. Now, to watch and be sober is to be vigilant, to be cautious, to be aware, to be circumspect. But it said, let us not sleep. This is not talking about literal sleep. This is talking about spiritual sleep. Really being spiritually dead, man. Right? Let's go to the book of Romans. Let's see, what is it? The book of Romans, the 13th chapter, the classic. This is Romans chapter 13, verse 11. And knowing the time that now it is high time to awake out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than we believe. Now, and I like using lessons on multiple things, right? While the enemy is doing what they're doing, we're supposed to be doing what we're supposed to be doing to get closer to the Lord and play our role. The more this truth come out, women are being more exposed. When women feel like, oh, this ain't the 1800. Men, you can't do no, man. Oh, you're a whore if you like other women, like all these other things. But guess what? Through the Spirit, the Lord is bringing back the old way, right? Even if women not getting into it, guess what? Hey, if a brother not getting it on this side, I mean, right now, when all hell break loose, oh man, all the people that overlooked them, what? It's going to change, because look, it's going to get real. Just because your food stamp still might work, eventually shit is going to change, right? Just like when they're talking about this digital ID, yes, is in other places because it's getting promoted. In a minute, Babylon is about to go skyrocket with it, because America is really a bully, and they're not only a bully in other countries, they're a bully in their own country. So you want to be disconnected from this place, which makes you sleep. Wake up. This is why I believe brotherhood and this truth is very important. Brothers that's teaching the same thing as sound doctrine. I believe even for sisters, you sisters, get in line. It's other sisters that might have an attribute you don't have. You better learn how to get that attribute. I'm not saying be like them, but you better get that spiritual attribute. You're a woman that's not trying to control a man, and you got, oh, I'm thinking this or that. You better get it right, because man, I'm telling you, everything that's about to lead to shit unfolding, we're gonna really see who really was about this truth, because some people are not gonna be able to handle it. Look at the community you living in. When all hell break loose, some of us is living a damn elbow length from our next door neighbor. You got nigglets in the hood. Like, who you gonna trust, man? Who the hell you gonna trust? So this is the time to wake up out of sleep. The number one thing being talked is this truth. You got people speaking against it. You got IUIC marching there 2819. They don't want to hear you teach. You got all them men, they all could do videos. Got 500, 1,000 people marching, and only 4 of y'all probably doing videos. Make that make sense, man. And then now we all get pointed out, but guess what? When that time come, The Lord is going to really have a different light on those that was really sincere. And some of y'all going to get humbled. You women, y'all going to get super humbled. Some of you brothers, y'all going to get humbled. Right? So let's go back. Uh 1 Thessalonians chapter 5. Again, verse 6. Therefore, let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober. For they that sleep in the night, and they that be drunken are drunken in the night. But let us who are of the day be sober, putting on the breastplate of faith, Ephesians the 6th chapter, verse 12, all the way to 17, right? That armor. The breastplate of faith, love, for an helmet, the hope of salvation. That's the whole point, you know? You want to have hope of salvation. I don't want this kingdom to last a day, a week, a month, or a year. Some of y'all do. Some of y'all might not even be saying it, but in the end part, you is. Because, of course, I know some of us might say we're not ready. But what is you doing daily to get closer to the Lord? People would say, oh, yeah, do a lesson on relationship. And then you find out, I bet you a lot of y'all forgot about that. You know? Ain't playing your role. For the Most High have not appointed us to wrath, but to obtain salvation by our Lord, Yahawashi Mashiach. Only the elect. They're going to obtain that salvation. That's why Romans 11:7. You know, did Israel obtain what they were seeking for? But the election have. Right? It says, who died for us, that whether we wake or sleep, we shall live together with him. That right? Because it is some of us that is sleep. I was asleep. I was ignorant and unbelief. But the Lord woke my ass up. Gave me a beautiful alarm. You know? But that was, for me to tell that was definitely spirit. Because I could definitely tell that was the spirit. Because me to do a lesson and the head brother, the camp Yahawashi, just get on the live. You know, and even before that live, me, you know, bumping into Ralph Father and him wearing fringes, not knowing what that was, but just so anxious and excited, and ask somebody, do you know God hates somebody? Not even knowing his name. And he said, yeah, the damn devil that the Bible speak of, the so-called white man, the YT man. I'm like, man, what? I said, I didn't even tell you his name or what nation he is. You know? And that right there confounded me. I wasn't too serious yet because I still was, you know, in the world. You know, being spiritually bisexual, trying to serve the Lord and trying to be in the world, trying to smoke weed, trying to be in the world, trying to do this, trying to do that. Man, the Lord not dealing with that. So going back to my little statement, I always say, every time since I've been in this truth from 2015, really taking it serious in 2019, but from 2015, I was peeling the onion. Till I got to that point, like, yo, now it look good. Now I can cut it and use it, dice it up how I want, right? So when they say peace and safety, like it says in verse 3, when they shall say peace and safety, like Donald Trump and the world leaders proclaim, right? What are they proclaiming? There will be no World War III. Yet the scriptures give us clear examples. This is how you know these secrets wasn't for the whole world. I mean, of course, when we teach it, they're going to hear it, but are they going to understand it? But they got the exact opposite. Because really, sudden destruction going to come. See, us over here, if we are the children of Abraham, we believe in these things. I just read the little horn. I just read in Daniel the 7th chapter, which, you know, Yahawah Shemashah allowed me to get the understanding through the minute of the Lord. And I even did my search, and I'm like, oh, this is actually lining up. So when you see Rome did not devour the whole earth, but America did. Those damn Europeans, they devoured the earth. But it really started when the Rothschild to start to make these central banks, where all our money stems from them. Treasury, interest, interest rate, all those other credit, all that shit stemmed from them. The top elites. Right? Let me get this in Deuteronomy before I forget. Deuteronomy, the 29th chapter. Because this is all a mystery. When the Lord reveals it to you through the Spirit, I always look marked. Especially if I'm paying attention to a lesson, and I'm hearing it, I feel I'm marked. So half the time when I learn a lesson, I'm getting these precepts. I'm about to go relook them up. Probably try to see if I can add another precept, see if it's making sense. Talk to some brothers, and if it's lining, most of the time I'm about to bring out them precepts the next following day because I was so edified. I was so motivated, and it's really the Lord moving you because He might use him to do this lesson and bounce on multiple brothers. A brother might do a lesson, next week, and it might hit you, and then you might end up doing a lesson for the sheep, because we're not in a time of oh, let me just get it back and get money. Yes, you can get that, but if you don't have that spiritual discernment, you're not gonna know that that's all a distraction. Like last weekend, I think it was Saturday. Saturday, no, no, no. Was it Saturday? No, I think it was Monday. Monday, all the sports was playing at the same time: basketball, baseball, hockey. Now, if we do some research, which we can, you can understand that Rome did the circus to while people were paying attention to sports, they would be distracted while they're committing treason, fraud, and all other criminal enterprise. Um, what is it? Let me make sure I got this. I think it is Proverbs 14. Proverbs, is it 4 and 16? This is Proverbs chapter 4, verse 16. It says, "For they sleep not except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away unless they cause them to fall." In the NLT, for evil people can't sleep until they've done their evil deed. For the day, they can't rest until they've caused someone to stumble. Yo, you gotta be a wicked demon if you can't get no sleep. You can't get no sleep. You can't get no sleep unless you make somebody fall. Right? What should that remind you of? Now I'm gonna go back to this Deuteronomy 29, verse 29. But now that brought us to another precept. This is Sirach, the 12th chapter. Sirach chapter 12 in verse 10. It's thy enemy, for like as iron trusteth, so is his wickedness. So we just read 16. They don't get no rest until they make somebody fall. Revelations 12 and 12. Right? They have a time. But let's look at verse 16. Sirach chapter 12, verse 16. An enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but in his heart and his mind he imagined how to throw thee into a pit. So if Proverbs 4 and 16, he don't get no rest until he makes somebody fall, they're trying to get somebody to fall into a pit. Now we know pit is a land, but in another example of pit, it can be a trap, it can be a snare. He will weep with his eyes, but if he find opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood. Didn't they try to show some concern with the sea biscuit? Let's just keep going. Just let that sink in your head. This is Deuteronomy chapter 29, verse 29. The secret things belong unto Yahawah our power, but those things which are revealed belong unto us and to our children forever, that we may do all the words of his law. Now, if you come in this faith, you got to think the Lord cared for you, because this is the Lord's secrets, and these things that are revealed belong to us, to the men, to you women, and to you children. You supposed to really look like, yo, the Lord really loved me though, because now I'm able to know the secrets. Now for you women, this is not what I just said is for you to, oh, let me go in all these precepts, let me get this, because even if you get them all, you're not going to even break it down the same way, because I know some sisters that will break something down and they'll miss a point. And then as soon as you say, oh man, I hate that. Shoot, a man don't want to get it wrong. You want to make sure that your faith not wrong, right? Don't try to master breaking down scriptures, right? Because if you feeding babes, the children is not on a level that you could say, hey, what's this going into? Now you might test them, but You're not, hey, what is Revelations 12 going into? That's some meat. They ain't gonna be able to explain that, okay? And in most cases, if you're not dabbling in history, you don't got time to go in history, guess what? You're not gonna be that deep either. So when you watch a time to it by hearing, just like in church, you ain't saying nothing. They give you the verse. Sometimes you, the sister going there, she highlighting it, you know, which, you know, you could do that. But in the old days, you were just hearing the man teach. Like Jeremiah 28:8. You heard the men of the Lord prophesying a war. And you was just listening. But by your faith, you was like wondering, like, oh man, when this is gonna happen. Okay? That's the mindset we need to be in. Looking at the signs. And the signs go off of, are you being alert? Is the men of the Lord saying, hey, watch this, hey, watch that? Then you watch that. Okay? So let's go to Jeremiah, the 6th chapter. Jeremiah chapter 6 in verse 14. I'll start at verse 13. It says, for from the least of them, even unto the greatest of them, everyone is given to covetousness. And from the prophet, even unto the priest, everyone dealeth falsely. They have healed also the hurt of my people slightly, saying peace, peace, when there is no peace. Were they ashamed when they had committed abomination? Nay, they were not at all ashamed, neither could they blush. Therefore they shall fall among them that fall. At the time that I visit them, they shall be cast down, saith Yahawah. Right? It's gonna be people that's saying peace, peace, even in our own nation. Right? It's people that's not in this faith and people in this faith that's gonna say peace, peace. Hey, don't worry, just be happy. But there is no peace. So false prophets and rulers speak peace when destruction is on the horizon. Now you got some brothers that might not even dabble in prophecy, but they want to be seen on these platforms and all this other stuff and to be the face of Israel. Now, yes, the Lord might use that to make, you know, Hebrew Israelites to be the talk, but prophecy is key. That shows what spirit you're in, right? The same spirit exists today. The leaders say no war, but the prophets of Yahawah say destruction is decreed. Now, we have to know a decree is what a king, you know, makes as a signet. What the Lord have said of old, guess what? None of us, I'm not here to rewrite a new Bible. What the Lord have said is, thus saith the Lord. Let's go to this right here. And I've been using this for the past weeks, months, right? For those that know, they probably might know what verse what chapter and verse I'm going to. This Isaiah 46:10, declaring the end from the beginning and from the ancient times, the things that are not yet done, saying my counsel shall stand and I will do my pleasures. Donald Duck, you are, the Lord set you up to be that cruel Lord, but he didn't put you in a position of saying it's something that's not going to happen. But guess what? He's going to use you to say that to eventually be a part of saying peace and safety. Because then he just say he just signed a peace treaty on the other side. Really what the Gaza thing is really for those damn small heads, those Zionists, them damn imposters to take over the whole land. That's what it really is, right? But at the end of the day, this is America kissing their foot. This is America kissing their ass, because this is a system set up, especially by the fake juju beings, by Edomites that want to cover themselves. They would never as I am the Edomites, but we're trying to come as ourselves, that I am the Hebrew Israelites. So the Lord is declaring his end from the beginning. This is the end time right here. And he declared this in the ancient times. So this declare was his decree. Things that are not yet done. So he's going to, all these things are going to be fulfilled. They're not yet done. Habakkuk chapter 2 verse 3, all these things are for appointed time. Okay? All these things are for appointed time. That's why you want to be nervous, because the Lord is going to come like a thief in the night. Just like wherever you living, you chilling, and an earthquake just erupt. That earthquake erupted as a thief. A lot of us ain't prepared. I got my basement. I'm prepared for this earthquake, and then a flood come. Now you on the top of your roof. You wasn't ready. Then the flood go down. You want to go try to get like in Texas where you get or California where you try to get fire insurance. They cut that off. You have to be prepared. Seeing those type of disasters, like yo, the Lord, with every disaster, that's just the Lord really gonna fully come here, because Isaiah 29:6, the Lord visits the earth through earthquakes, fires, tempests, of course, flame of fire, and pestilence. The Lord is in thunder, like real thunder. The Lord touched down, and you're gonna believe it. You know how many times they thunder when it's really raining. Hey, how about Yahawashi said that he visits the earth when it thunders? I'm believing that, right? Just like an earthquake, just like a volcano erupting. You know how many people die because of them things? Yo, you got certain places where the earthquake hit, the damn earth open up. What if you driving and the joint just open and you just sink down? Like, come on, man. Yahawah Shemal Shai is great and terrible. This is Ezekiel chapter 7 and verse 25 to 27. It says, I'll start at verse 23. It says, make a chain, for the land is full of bloody crimes, and the city is full of violence. Therefore, I will bring the worst of the heathen, and they shall possess their houses. I will also make the pump of the strong to cease, and their holy places shall be defiled. Now, this is going back into in the time of the siege of Israel. But let's look, if we was to look at this time where nations ain't going to overtake this, because this place is going to be destroyed. But look at other nations are happy, starting with Esau, about living in our land, dividing it amongst each other. Destruction cometh, and they shall see peace, and there shall be none. So it's the same vice versa in so-called the state of Israel, but even more in Babylon the Great. You know, it's people coming from overseas thinking they about to live the American life. It's a dude at work that said, man, America is hard. This man's so used to just being lazier, just having work easy, you know, working for hours, and you might not get a break, standing on your feet, your back hurt, you know. This is real captivity, man. Beat by a whip, your job gonna be beating you down, man. I know some men that they knees is when they walk. And you be like, why don't you retire? Because if I retire, it's still not enough. They say back then, a lot of people used to live off their retirement. Now, man, we in a different time where it's people coming back from retirement to work, okay? Verse 26, it says, mischief shall come upon mischief, and rumors shall be upon rumor. Then shall they seek a vision of the prophet, but the law shall perish from the priest, and counsel from his ancients. Like, yo, some people are gonna lose that thought of the word, man. Breakdowns, lessons. This is another reason why you're trying to be, like, especially you men, symbolic to being studious, or always going into this word, like 2 Thessalonians 13:10, right? If a man don't work, he can't eat. I needs to eat, okay? And I'm speaking about spiritually eating. It says, the king shall mourn, and the prince shall be clothed with the desolation, in the hands of the people of the land shall be troubled. I will do unto them after their way, and according to their deserts will I judge them. And they shall know that I am Yahawah. They shall know that I am Yahawah. So first, judgment first happened in the house of Israel. And even, you know, the elect, you 2/3, you're going to really know Shai was real. And you didn't care. You betrayed him. Not coming in his truth is betraying him. Slacking on your faith, you're betraying Yahawah Shem Yahawashi. Now denying him, which Lord willing this lesson uploads later, denying him, you got a chance to come back in this thing, right? Because a lot of us have denied, right? Just like I said, I was slacking. If I believed in him, why I didn't really hop on? Because still denying certain things because I didn't have the knowledge. I don't think I had to read such and such and such, right? I didn't have the name, and then when I had the name, I was still saying Jesus. So now I'm denying, is that the real name? Right? You got different levels, but look at me now, right? I'm going hard about the name because the same teachers that's actually really feeding, they going hard about the name. And I was never taught to go hard about the name. People still don't know Jesus. I want to be holy. I want to be set apart. So when I teach, I'm going to bring forth the actual Hebrew name of the Heavenly Father and the Son. Put more fear on people. It allows this lesson to be more edifying. Okay? But trouble is gonna come first at the house of Yahawah Shema Shai. So if you say you in this truth, you're gonna get afflicted. But those that's not obeying it, yours is gonna seem like warm water compared to those that that was in this church. But guess what? You still in no good case either. Right? So even when leaders promise calm, Yahweh's judgment is already in motion. Right? It's already in what is it? Audible. Okay? That's why none of us can run. Right? Judas couldn't run. He was set up to betray Yahawashi. When you set up, you set up. Sometimes the Lord can have you in this thing. That's why it says judgment gonna first happen in the house of the Lord, because there's some people that's in this house, but they're fake. They're not really in this. Rumor upon rumor, news of wars, tension between nations, nuclear threats. These are the beginning of sorrows. That lines up with Matthew 24. And did we not have that? Didn't Donald Duck drop a bomb somewhere in Iran just because they was making a new bomb? But America and Russia got more than 5,000 bombs, ICBM missiles, and you stopping them in as other nations? Are you kidding me? The same nation that was the first nation that had the confidence to drop bombs? Well, how can I trust somebody that's like that? Somebody else can't have them, but you can. But we know that Daniel 4:17, the Lord giveth the kingdom to whomsoever he wants. He even gave it to the bases of men. The bases mean lowest. Esau, Edom, is the lowest man on the earth. Sirach 51 and the G&T show you it's three things the Lord detests, right? The Philistine or the stupid Samaritans, and the people that don't deserve to be called a nation, the Edomites, right? So this is Isaiah chapter 13 and verse 4 to 6. It says, the noise of a multitude in the mountains, like as of a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. Yahawah of hosts mustereth the host of the battle, and they come from a far country. They come from a far country and from the end of the earth. Even Yahawah in the weapons of his indignation, his anger, to destroy the whole land. What is verse 5 saying? It says, and they come from a far country from the ends of the earth. These are speaking about the wasters in Isaiah 54:16. These are the ICBM missiles, because arrows, these things that's gonna bring destruction, arrows can't come from the end of the earth. Yeah, we know fighter jets, but that's like in World War I, World War II. World War III is gonna be fought with wasters. Well, I wouldn't need, like, I don't know if y'all know, but when America drop bombs now in today time, they send that droid plane that go high as hell, and they drop it right in the location they want it. And they got somebody sitting there, a little gadget, and they watching. The top sergeant, they watching. All right, fire. We in a time where you don't even gotta pull up. Now, yes, you're gonna have footmen, to do the tactical work, but they can drop a nuke on a city, a building. Somebody could be hiding deep down the ground. You know what? Hey, let's send this. Okay? So again, it says, they come from a far country, from the end of heaven, even Yahawah, because Yahawah's going to come. When Yahawashi come, it's going to look like when you look to the west and you see thunder, that's how Yahawashi gonna be arriving. But I want to see how it's delivered in the NLT. It's Isaiah chapter 13 and verse 5 in NLT. It says, let me start at verse 4 again. It says, hear the noise of the mountains. Listen as the vast armies march. It is the noise shouting of many nations. Yahawah of heaven's army has called this army together. Now, yes, we know the Armageddon is starting in the east. The Lord is gathering the nations over there. Right now, some will look, oh, the nations over there for oil, or they over here for resources. No, that's the Lord setting it up, a covering, you know, because the Lord's decree is going to be fulfilled. Verse 5, they come from distant countries, from beyond the furthest horizon. They are Yahawah's weapons to carry out his anger. With them, he will destroy the whole land. Well, this is really talking about America, because how can an army be on the land, but they're supposed to destroy the people? It says, with them, he will destroy the whole land. Right? And look, it's 144. Call Yahawah Bashim Yahawashi Bashim Kakadash. Right? So how? Let's go to Isaiah 54. Isaiah 54, verse 16. Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work. And I have created the waster to destroy. Right? Why would the Lord have Esau create something that he's not going to use? Wasn't he blessed with the sword? Don't Revelation 6 say that the red horse has a great sword? What great sword do Esau has? He has these missiles, man. He could be eating a damn peanut butter cracker sandwich and drop a whole nuke on you, man. This Jeremiah 50, is this the one we want, though? This Jeremiah 51, verse 1. It says, thus saith Yahawah, behold, I will raise up against Babylon and against them that dwell in the midst of them that rise up against me, a destroying wind. Now, ancient Babylon wasn't destroyed by a destroying wind. They were overtaken. It was just like, they got, right when Belshazzar seen that writing and Daniel gave him the interpretation, guess what? Doris came in, took the, swipey took the kingdom from him. The Lord is going to bring that destroying wind, and we already see the destroying wind is the waster, right? Because when a bomb drops, it pushes out wind, and then it sucks it back in, right? It says, and will send unto Babylon fanners that shall fan her and shall empty her land. For in the day of trouble they shall be against her round about, and against him that bendeth let the archer bend his bow. What is the archer? Right? The what is it called? The silos. Right? I got videos.
Father, who was in his early 80s, had a prophetic dream about America. My grandfather saw a war here on American soil, and he was really saddened by this dream.
All of the countries was surrounding America, every last one. And they all had nuclear missiles pointed at America.
I see like this aerial view of like the globe, and I see missiles being launched into the United States, and it was literally like chaos. There was pillars.
What? They were all pointed at Babylon the Great, man. Keep playing if you want to, man. Right? Let's get this. Revelations, I believe. Because I know this one goes into... Is this the one that goes into... Yeah, is this the one that goes into... Or is it 12? It might be... Where is it at? Salaki family. I want to get the right one. feel like I'm getting a little excited. I had it. Is this it? Real that. So, real that. Oh, that's not it. Oh, here we go. This Revelation chapter 9. I want to get this point. And verse 17, it says, "And thus I saw the horses in the vision, and them that sat on them, having a breastplate of fire and of javelin and brimstone, and the heads of the horses, whereas the heads of lions, in their mouths issued out fire and smoke and brimstone. By these three, third part of man killed, because it's three type of men. You have the sons of God, the sons of men, and the sons of the wicked. The sons of God are the Israelites, the chosen bloodline from Adam all the way to the seeds of Jacob. Then you have the sons of men, which is the other nations, right outside of, except for Esau. So you got 16 nations, which is the son of men, and then you got the son of the wicked. The son of the wicked is Malachi chapter 1, verse 4. Go read it right now. Who's the borderline of wickedness? Who's the sword of the Lord? The wicked, and that's the Edomites. Okay, so the third part of men, because when this war had part of Esau is going to be wiped. Of course, we're going to have those rich elites, right? But it's going to be a beautiful sacrifice by the fire and by the smoke and by the brimstone, which issued out of their mouth. That was talking about that same dragon. Now, when it's talking about brimstone and fire, this is bringing us back to Sodom and Gomorrah. But we're in a new time where technology, that they use technology as a weapon, which goes back into the ICBM missiles. They put microchips in these missiles. For their power is in their mouth, right? Which is really speaking about the tip where the warheads would be. In their tails, for their tails were like unto serpents. Now, the serpent, I use it as symbolic to, if you look at certain lizards, and I believe certain snakes, their tail can be cut or broken and they can regrow it. So when you look at a missile or even a rocket, it breaks off the back tail. It says, for their tails were like unto serpents and had heads, and with them they do hurt. The heads is talking about the warheads, because some ICBM missiles can have 6, 8, 12, maybe 20. It says, in the rest of men which were not killed by these plagues, yet repented not of the works of their hands, and not worship devils and idols of gold and silver and brass and stone and wood, which neither can see nor hear nor walk. Neither repented they of their murders, nor of their sorceries, nor of their fornication, nor of their thefts. Now, first, when we look at the house of Israel, it's a lot of Jake that's not going to repent. You're not going to know what name to call on, or this and this and that. Some people might, just because they see a bomb this way, they might think, oh, no, man, we're in good safe. And you might have some Jake that's hiding in bunkers that might be hitting somewhere and think that they good. Like, you got some rich Jake that got bunkers in the United States. It's an idiot, right? But even when you line it up with the elites, even though it's no repentance for Esau, but in the same, for all the things that they have done on the earth, they're not going to even repent, right? They're going to have their mindset on my kingdom. Like Nebuchadnezzar, look what I have built. Now that it's broken down, they're going to be thinking about the possessions they had, the transatlantic slave. Like, of course, they pissing out because we got this wisdom, knowledge, understanding. They care for their kingdom, right? There was another one I wanted. Right, verse 15, it says the 4 angels were loose, which were prepared for an hour, right? Going into, when you look at Revelation 7, the angels that's holding back the 4 winds. The 4 winds is going into those missiles that's going to be coming from multiple directions, from the allies of America, which is part of the EU, the European Union, and Russia and its allies, which were prepared for an hour, a day, a month, and a year, to slay the third part of men. And the number of that army of the horsemen were 200,000, and I heard the number of them. Now, he seen them as horsemen. Now, when we break down words as horse as in power, okay? And, of course, these powers was made by men, but this goes back to the waster. This goes back to the destroying wind. How can men come and destroy a land and be on the land when it's destroyed? So this is talking about 200,000 warheads. Not because missiles, it can say, let's say 1 million ICBM missiles from all directions is coming to America. But when you count and add all the warheads, it's going to calculate to 200,000, which is 200 million. Okay? So Yahawah himself is gathering the armies for World War III, not man. Right? This is about Yahawashi. Esau, you're just a character in his story. Right? The Most High is the one controlling the nations. Right? Heart to fulfill his will. Now, all kings used to think the same thing. This is not going to happen. That's not going to happen. You think Babylon, Nebuchadnezzar and his sons, they thought they was going to rule forever? That drink was taken. And guess what? That was fulfilled, which was prophesied through Daniel. You know, the Greek captivity, that was fulfilled too. So all that other stuff was fulfilled. But the rest of it's not. Man, you out your living rapping mind, man. You know, we ain't gonna believe in that. This is Proverbs chapter 21, verse 1. It says, the king's heart, the king's mind is in the hand of Yahawah. As the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will. So Yahawah Esau speaking of peace, ain't no World War III. Because eventually it's gonna come into peace and safety. Eventually it's gonna come to famine of the word. Because now we don't all need to teach something else. You know, America, since, you know, we connected to we're going to be one religion because Israel did us good, right? And that's going to afflict and persecute the church, right? Then, even simultaneously, the MOTB, which is already in the midst of us. Everything leads to the MOTB, right? However you want to mix it, flip it, or dip it. But when all these when these laws, legislations get pushed, it's all by Yahawah by Yahawashi. Man can do shit. It's just like us brothers doing lessons. The Lord, you know, give you your instructions while you sleep. Hey, sometimes you might not have a vision or a dream, but the lessons that you have, it was already instructed in the heavens, right? When you look, sorry for my eyes, man, I'm tired. When you look at election, that goes back to selection. So brothers are selected to do particular lessons, right? To edify the sheep, right? I'm gonna just quote this other one I got down. Matthew, the 24th chapter, verse 6, where it says, ye shall hear of wars and rumors of war, right? We're hearing these things now, right? Yahawashi himself warned the disciples before his return, right? Wars will escalate, not end. This directly cuts the line of no World War III. Okay? You even have a drug war that's going on. Right? Drugs still going on. Why they trying to fix things overseas? America is not in the best chippy. Yo, a lot of Jake is in all these other cities. Oh, I'm not going through ice. Yeah. All that other stuff is just an experiment. To see what the progress is gonna turn into. Man, you know how shocking it would be if Donald Duck found a way to be a dictator where he can make his stay as president longer, just like Julius Caesar did. See, a lot of y'all might not know what Julius Caesar did. You know, he made his time even longer. That's what did they do? They damn near assassinated him. Now, we already read Revelations, the 9th chapter. I kind of went ahead of schedule just for time's sake. But this is John the Revelator seeing a vision of coming nuclear destruction, fire, smoke, brimstone, modern thermonuclear war. That's World War III written in prophetic language. Now, it's something that I quoted. So if this is a vision, this vision came by who? Yahawah by Hashem Yahawashi. This is something we should be feeling like, yo, I gotta get right, you know? Be more humble. This is Job chapter 33, verse 14. For the Most High speaketh once, yet twice, yet man perceiveth not. In a dream and in a vision of night, when deep sleep falleth upon men, and slumbering upon the bed, then he opened the ears of men and sealeth their instructions. Right? So he's seeing these visions. Now we're in a time where we're living in that reality of the time that he was seeing, because we're getting closer to MOTB. So you were in John the Revelator's dream. Rumors of war. That same prophecy that Matthew, you're in that time. Right? We're slowly but surely even in the time of the love of many shall wax cold. Eventually it's gonna get a race war, like full-blown race war. Even where Edomites might be even against Edomites, black against black, blacks against white, white against black, Chinese. So look, it's about to get so real. And you saying a lot of y'all say the scripture's not real, but they've been playing everything out. It's just the things we're waiting for it to be fulfilled on this side. Okay? So I think we brought this other precept out like a little early, because like I was too excited, so I had to bring it out earlier. Revelation the 14 and 16, and for they are the spirits of devils working miracles, which go forth into the kings of the earth and the whole world to gather them to the battle of that great day of the Most High Almighty. Verse 16, it says, and he gathered together into a place called in the Hebrew tongue, what they in the scriptures is Armageddon, but when you say it in Hebrew it's Armageddon, right? The final world war, or World War III between the nations, fulfilling prophecy, right? And even what's going to simultaneously happen is Revelations 12 and 7. And there was a war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels. So Michael, that top archangel, and his angels fought the angels that he's going to come with, right, against the dragon, which that dragon goes back to Rome when you read Revelation 1 to 4. The tail was Herod, that was afflicting Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, but Benjamin, I believe, got it the worst, to look for Yahawashi. But the dragon, which is said red dragon, goes back to Rome, and the red goes back to Edom. And who was ruling Rome? The Idumeans. So this dragon that Michael's going to fight in the angels is Rome. The dragon represents Rome. So Rome is the little horn in Daniel 7:8. Michael and his angels are going to fight against that dragon, and the dragon fought his angels. His angels is messenger representatives. It would be allies. Now, yes, the allies are against Babylon, right? But everybody's going to turn and make war against Yahawashi, right? Which, let's go into 2nd Ezra, the 16th chapter. The 2nd Ezra chapter 16, verse 3 to 6, it says, a sword is sent upon you, and who may turn it back? A fire is set among you, and who may quench and anguish it? All manner of evil is sent unto you, and who may drive it back? May any man drive away a hungry lion in the wood? Or may anyone quench the fire in stubble when it have begun to burn? Right? So once Yahawah decrees destruction, no man, no Trump, no UN, no NATO can stop it. And we just seen this in 2nd Ezra, the 16th chapter. Who can turn it back? And it's the same. If a missile go up, who's going to be able to turn it? Because It's videos where even Russia said that their machines, their missiles in the silos was cutting on, ready to be launched. But it was a UAP or a UFO near where they where they base is at, turning it on. Then it shut out the atmosphere and then turned it off. Those, it even said what we read in Isaiah 54:16, I created the smith, I created the waster. This is all for the Lord. Who made the fire and brimstone back then? Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahawashi. So he's doing it again, but he's going to do it even greater. He's going to use the damn wicked. Because what did Isaac, through the spirit Yahawashi, bless Esau with? The sword. Esau's sword wasn't just only a sword. And over time it grew, the sword. Then he had the one joint where you light a ball, and then you tearing down walls, and then that ball is just rolling as fire. Then you just keep going forward, making planes, making chemical weapons, bombs, all these other things. Now look where we at. ICBM missiles that can go from continent to continent. Before somebody had to really fly a plane. The Lord is doing that. The Lord is setting this up. Right? So this 2nd Ezra chapter 13, verse 29 to 31. It says, behold, the day is come when the Most High will begin to deliver them that are upon the earth, speaking about the elect. And he shall come over them that dwell on the earth. And one shall undertake to fight against another, one city against another, one place against another, one people against another, and one realm against another. It'll be all out hectic, right? People against people, nation against nation, city against city, realm against realm. Nobody gonna be able to hide from this. Now, yeah, we know the elite's gonna hide in their bunkers, but the Most High is behind everyone, bringing all kingdoms into the valley of decision. Joel chapter 3, verse 9 to 14, Jehoshaphat. Okay, so even while the rulers speak peace and destruction, right? While these rulers are speaking of peace, destruction is already written, and the Lord is going to do all his pleasure, because it's a pleasure to destroy and save his elect by nuclear war, famine, chaos, and insurrection, right? Yo, it's gonna be, man, civilians is just gonna be hopping into government official buildings, houses, and hey, if you piss them off, man, they're not gonna spare their neighbor in that day. That's why you want to hope that you're on the right side, man. Oh, fucking. This is Zephaniah chapter 1, verse 14. It says, the day of Yahawah is near. It is near, it's hasting greatly. Even the voice of the day of Yahawah. The mighty man shall cry with bitterly. That day is a day of trouble and distress, a day of wasteness and desolation, a day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness, a day of the trumpet and alarm against the fenced cities and against the high towers. Now just imagine the entry when Yahweh shall return. And I will bring distress upon men, that they shall walk like blind men, because they have sinned against Yahweh, and their blood shall be poured out as dust. Right? Why? Because the chariots is going to be able to zap you into dust. Yo, think I'm playing. Go, when you watch Call of Duty, I forgot that dang gun, man. The ultimate gun. Dang. I haven't played it in a minute. Damn. What is it? I forgot what it's called. It's a joint. You zap somebody right to dust. Right? When you see I'm a Martian, they zapping people to dust. Right? To keep going, it says, in their flesh as the dung. Neither their silver nor their gold should be able to deliver them in the day of Yahweh's wrath. But the whole land shall be devoured by the fire of his jealousy, for he shall make even a speedily riddance of all them that dwell in the land, right? Even you 2/3. You have the nations, any Chinese, Japanese, African, Hamite, man, any one of you nations that's left here, the Lord is going to get good. Yo, what'd he say? He said, make even a speedy riddance of all them that dwell in the land. I don't want to be of that. Going to dust? Oh man, and what if and the Lord got the power to make you feel that, and then slow time to make you think that it's going slow, but it's really fast. Economic peace, politics, or treaties won't save Babylon the Great from what's to come. Let's get that Revelations 18:8. This is 18:8. It says, therefore shall her plagues come upon in one day, death, mourning, famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. For strong is Yahawah Shemashai power, who judgeth her. Right? It's getting it all. If you want to, the presence of Almighty isn't restricted by a single sex. So it's blasphemous to say he is. Oh yeah, you one of those bug outs. The Heavenly Father is a man. The Son is a man. You know, why you think the order on the earth is really ran under a man? You have no understanding, man. Go back to sleep. And we just read that in 2 Thessalonians. You just made this lesson more edifying, man. You just made it. You better hope I don't make you a lesson. That man just came. He just became a whole freaking lesson. It's 11 verse 3. It says, but I would have you know that the head of every man is a Mashiach, and the head of woman is the man, and the head of a Mashiach is the Most High. Right? Why is man first? Why do men uphill wisdom, knowledge, understanding? Because Yahawah is a him. Right? Even when you go to Daniel, it speak about the Heavenly Father having woolly hair. So yes, he is a man. Right? He's the father of spirit. Why did Yahawashi pray to him and say freaking bugged out? Right? You freaking bugged out, man. And it said, let's look at this. This is Daniel chapter 10. This is really going into Yahawashi. Yeah. Let me see if it's this one I want. Okay, this is Daniel 7:9. It says, and I beheld till the thrones were cast down in the Ancient of Days. Who's the Ancient of Days? The Heavenly Father. Was white as snow, and his hair of his head like the pure wool, and his throne was like the fiery flame, and his wheels as burning fire. Right? Because really his throne is a chariot itself. The Heavenly Father don't get off his throne. The women, they got that little, but a man sits on the throne. David, Solomon, they sit on a throne. A wife, she got that little stool on the side. Hey, shit, she don't even got that. A man sit on the throne. You bugged out. You disrespecting, you blasphemous, calling him he, him, his. Don't he his word? He say his people. Oh, that don't mean that. You're bugged out, man. You got to go eat a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and go back to sleep. Right, let's read this one because he just said that. This Wisdom of Solomon chapter 3 verse 9. Right, while the world is blinded by false peace, the elect are awake watching. You might, most likely might not be the Mr. Charism Ark. Yeah, you might not be the elect. This is Wisdom of Solomon chapter 3 verse 9. And it says, they that put their him shall understand the truth. Right, through the spirit and power of Yahawah Shemashai, I understand the truth. Because of his Rakakwadaj in St. John 14:26, the Comforter will bring all things in remembrance. Okay? It says, in such as be faithful in love, show him, for grace and mercy is to his saints, and he have cared for his elect. Come on. And when we look at he in the Greek, it goes back to Yah. Father is either son is son, and the Holy Ghost is the which is the Trinity. As you can see, the Trinity is energy. No, ain't no such thing as Trinity. Is that Trinity is not even in Scripture. They're in one in agreement. They're in one in will, because it's all Yahawah's will. When the Son was on the earth, he when he prayed to the Heavenly Father before he was about to be taken, he said, "Let this cup pass over me, but let it be your will and not mine." It's all about the Heavenly Father's will. This goes back to saying it's no free will. If you're predestined, it was all predestined of the Lord. Then Yahawashi even told him in St. John 17, I pray not for the world, but I pray for them that Thy has given me. The Lord gave Yahawashi his elect, because the Heavenly Father created Yahawashi and gave him the blueprint. So Yahawashi knew who to create. That would be the elect. Ooh, that just motivated me. He said, keep go of your pride and ego. Look past your physical form from your soul, spirit, chakras. Yeah, no. This is, I got pride in Yahawah by Shem Yahawashi. Like, this is another thing that some people mess up in English. When you pride or proudful, you're proud in self or pride in self. Proud or prideful. Just like if you was paying attention to the lesson, Donald Duck said, you see what I have done? I done. That's being proud. I said even in this whole lesson, for me to have the Heavenly Father and the Son to the ability that I have is all by the Rakak Wadash, the Holy Spirit, the divine spirit that comes from the heaven, right? Wisdom of Solomon 9:6. Without thy wisdom, we are regarded as nothing. I can't do nothing. I can't teach unless the Lord already put that instruction within me, just like he told Jeremiah, right? Jeremiah didn't want to prophesy in his name, but the Lord put a fire in him. In Ezekiel, he put his hand over his mouth and it said, I put my words in your mouth. All Yahawah by Shem Yahawashi. So you would be wrong in understanding the word of pride. People that are pride, they think of self. I didn't think of self. The kingdom is within you, but in order to understand the kingdom, you need the word. So since I keep showing that you're a bug out, one's body, not a book, I'm just going to put you in timeout, brother. I'm going to put you in timeout. We'll put you in timeout, man. While you in timeout, go eat a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, man, because you just failed. You failed your whole household. You failed you. Literally. I don't know if, hey, you might not be of the elect, but the stuff you talking is shabba dabba ding dong. You sound like you need a Scooby-Doo treat. Okay? This is Luke chapter 21, verse 36. I said at verse 35, it says, for as a snare shall it come on all them that dwell on the face of the whole earth. Watch ye therefore and pray always, that ye may be counted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass, and to stand before the Son of Men. So you should be watching and praying. This is why it's even important to watch lessons. Now anybody could go to his channel. I highly doubt he got lessons at all. You shouldn't even be talking. But I can't stop that. The Lord set this up for the men of the Lord to get mocked by word, and then eventually it's going to become something physical. Okay? It been so many people for centuries that had his same mindset, and that shit didn't get us nowhere. Christianity been here for thousands of years and got the most following. Yahawashi still didn't come back. This truth on this side only been here for 56 years. Now, before I even say that, the Bible is this, the Torah and all this is way before the Quran. The Quran is what, only 500 years new, because before Muslims believed in the moon and the stars, okay? But this truth is divine and it's ancient, okay? So at the end of the day, if you're not speaking of the law and the testimonies that's in the scripture, darkness, that's bullshit, man. And everything in this world, which I did a lesson live long weeks ago, the number one thing that men, women, and children do on this earth is read. A job application, read. School, read. To get your ID, you got to read an application and fill it out. Oh, no, I didn't. To get a passport, you got to read. How you gonna know your name? Read. To sign up for a car, read. You could drop money, but you still got to sign shit. To get a phone, you got to have an email address. Reading is the #1 thing on the earth. So the Lord already knew the beginning and the end. And only the elect are going to investigate and actually sit down, shut the hell up, and actually read. People with that mindset need to be destroyed. People that's not coming out of false doctrine need to be destroyed. If I'm not coming out of false doctrine, I need to be destroyed. But right, because the truth that we teach, we test it. We search it, investigate. All this other shabba dabba ding dong, you can't investigate. Because the chapter where I went to in Revelations 12, the church is saying that the devil and Michael gonna have war in the heavens with a father at, and that happened back then. But the good and evil. He knows everybody's thoughts. So why would we believe, if he knows everybody's thoughts, Yahawah Yahawashi can stop the devil or an angel trying to overtake his glory or whatever. That sounds stupid. He said people hate order and love pleasure. That will be their downfall. That's a fact. That's a fact. That was beautiful. So the elect are alert, sober, and prepared spiritually through faith and obedience. So peace and safety is a deception tactic, a false assurance before destruction. Deception, a tactic, a false assurance before destruction. World War III is prophesied. Yahawah is mustering the nations for battle. He getting them amped. He getting them in line. He getting things moved around. Babylon will be destroyed by fire, nuclear judgment. That's the only way, because how was Sodom and Gomorrah? Was they pushed and swiped out by water? No. They was destroyed by fire and brimstone, where the angels made out of the elements of things The elect were watching and will be saved through Yahawashi. How are they watching? By watching the men of the Lord, by hearing the voice, seeing how they move and applying it in their life. Because I could be teaching, but you still have to apply it. What's one thing you can apply? I'm diligent. It's not me. The Lord is allowing me to be diligent because this is his truth. He's allowing me to be consistent. He's allowing me to actually know that this is real. He's allowing me to take accountability for my actions or what I do. He's allowing me to know and see my wrongs. He allows me to confront my brother on a certain thought. I don't be like, hey, yo, babe, I want to tell you this wrong I got. No, I go to the men of the Lord because they can't correct me and mold me to go any type of way. If I want something and I want to go get it, guess what? They would have to be like, damn, he wanted it. And say if I'm suffering or, oh my goodness, this is a whole burden. The only thing is say, hey, you wanted it, and I can't tell you not to. But then it could be certain, like when my wife say, hey, go check this out, your skin that. Now that's that's being love, that's being a nerver. Now that's just on me if I say no. But when it comes to what I want to do for my body or myself or who I want to entertain, they can't take none away from that. Right? But at the end of the day, how am I moving? How am I moving for Yahawah Yahawashi? Because the Lord can add and he could take away if you're not doing his will. Right? But the elect can't be removed. Those that's not doing his will is those that can be removed, and you was never of the elect. Okay? So prophecy cannot be stopped no matter what men declare. So I'm going to just paraphrase these other ones just for time's sake. 2 Peter 3, 10-12, go read it. But the day of Yahawashi will come as a thief in the night. The heavens shall pass away with a great noise, because when those bombs drop, it's going to be a great noise. And the elements shall melt with fervent heat, extremely hot. The elements that you see, things that you don't see, like bacteria in this place, that's going to be consumed, and things that you do see, the pole, this car, all of it is going to melt. Shalom to the brother Yahawah, the hopeful elect 777. To those that's watching, subscribe and watch that brother channel. I'm just saying because he teaches sound doctrine, and he's under the Apostles of Great Millstone. I'm under Zion, GMS, Niagara Falls, and Buffalo. We teach the same thing, so please subscribe and watch that brother's channel. So the great noise is the destruction Paul and the prophets foresaw, nuclear fire. This is why, like Jeremiah, and In old times, our forefathers and the prophets, apostles spoke about war, pestilence, right, destruction, chaos. We're doing the same thing. Isaiah 55:11. So shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth, and it shall not return to me void. I'm just quoting some parts of the verse. So everything that the Lord had brought forth, it's not going to come back unavoided. So everything is going to be fulfilled. It's not one thing that's at the end. What Yahawashi say? It is finished. It's done. Everything is going to be finished when Yahawashi come back, and there's going to be more that has to be done. you know, coming down and becoming hunters, having the nations build our kingdom, build our walls, right? Getting the other nations to carry our children, right? Them really kissing Yahawashi foot. And come on, man, the word of Yahawah will always be fulfilled. Peace talk cannot cancel prophecy. You can't cancel it because the spirit of prophecy is Yahawashi. So the end is when Donald Duck in the world say there will be no World War III, they are fulfilling 1 Thessalonians 5:3. Speaking of peace and safety. And that's really for you 2/3 that's not, that don't really believe. Oh, because the president said it, the Lord put him in office, so I will believe that. And look, he did do this. It is people that will be in a strong delusion and believe that. And when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh. The elect, however, are not deceived. They are under Yahawah Shemashai's word. And his word will come to pass exactly as it is written. Of course, it's going to be more hyphen because we're seeing it with our eyes. Now you're reading it, but it's going to hit you way more, just like when you get on a roller coaster, you see the roller coaster, your heart not jumping, but when you get on that thing and that buckles, you be like, oh man, dang. Even if you want to get on it, you still had that tickly, that little nerve or that excitement feeling. And then when you go up, and then as soon as you see that drop, and then when you drop, everybody's heart drop. Okay, that feeling. So Babylon will burn, nations will war, and Yahawashi will return in power and great glory to deliver the chosen. And even simultaneously, while Yahawashi getting his glory, when the elect is getting all set up, we're going to get our glory too, right? Because even the elect men, they're going to be renowned, they're going to be celebrated, they're going to be praised because they're connected to the joint heir of Yahawashi. You women that come in this thing and you actually was fully playing your role, especially you women that are going to be married to the 144,000. I'm just saying the top guys. You're going to be considered wise out of all. But really women that make it on this side is going to be considered wise out of all. That's the spirit. Now my phone want to start to die now that we're closing. So Lord willing, we are of that number. Lord willing, you believe. Lord willing, you're growing. Lord willing, you striving. And Lord willing, you being aware. Use the name of Yahawah Shem Yahawashi. Call on the name of Yahawah Shem Yahawashi. Meditate on the name, right? Do as much as you can for yourself. First speaking to the men, and you women, whatever you could do for the ministry, hey, if you sewing, you sewing. If you making dinner, you making dinner. If you even bringing peace to the men of the Lord that's in your household, do that thing. To each his own. Every man rule his house differently, right? But hey, how that man rule his house, how he want to run him and what he do, sis, accept it. And really, you gonna know if you really are this faith when you accept it and you're not mumbling under your mouth, on your throat. Everything you do on this side is gonna benefit you for the next step you make. The next prophecy fulfilled. Everything we do now is going to help us benefit for what's to come. Okay, famine of the word, the MOTB, Jacob's trouble. Every step towards those things is going to benefit on what situation your ass gonna be in. So let's give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahawah, Ba'ashem Yahawashi, Ba'ashem Rakakadash, the Wadi Yahawah, Ba'ashem Yahawashi, for another edifying lesson. Lord willing that we could take this, and Lord willing you could fill us up with these things and meditate on these things. But double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well and teach well through mighty shalom to the hopeful elect in the same spirit and sound doctrine. Lord willing, as a whole, y'all can continue in sound doctrine. Shalom to the Aqua, which Lord willing, you continue to pursue your lot, which is being a loving and silent and virtuous wife. And Lord willing, Yahawashi has mercy on the other brothers and sisters that is not in his faith. With that, shalom, shalom, ababa ball. Ababa.